Okay, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, partsbreakers.com, that's our website. And yeah, I've been doing Jeep parts for 15 plus years. Usually they're just product sales videos. This one's kind of both informational and also to sell our axles. But I wanted to go over, we get a lot of questions on these, on the differences. So first and foremost, this is a YJ front axle. And YJs are pretty, you can bolt these in from 87 to 95, literally. There's no differences as far as their mounting points go. Shocks, leaf spring perches, and whatnot, they're all the same. They did make some subtle changes on them, and you can use them. Like if you look at our listings, you'll see that we list them from 87 to 89, and then from 90 to 95. And really that has most to do with the brake systems on them, as well as the four-wheel drive system here. So the housings themselves are identical, but where they change is from the knuckles out. And then I believe the later ones also use a larger U-joint. I'll have to confirm that. Like this one would be the larger, or at least the shaft itself. But I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since I looked at an older one. We do have both right now, but I can tell you for sure the spindles, so the steering knuckles and calipers are different. And we usually list these. If you look in the ad, you'll see that it doesn't have these photoed. We do usually throw them in there, but in the case that we don't have them, they're not included in them. It's just something, they're kind of a freebie. If we do have a set, we'll throw on there. As far as the calipers and the rotors go, we usually always advise putting new ones on, because the brake component's important, obviously, but that's completely up to you. Our warranty on our axles is our axles, we cover the axle housing. Obviously, if it's bent, we'd cover that. Not if you bend it, but we do check these out. And 90% of all of our Jeeps out here come in running and driving, as you see those guys over there, not wrecked. So it gives us the assurance to give you that you're not buying something that's potentially been in a front end hit or rear end in the case of a rear axle. Okay, so again, so we'll cover the housings, and then we cover the ring and pinion and the carriers inside. What we do not cover are spider gears, which are usually fine, but sometimes they get a little pitted. They're fairly inexpensive and pretty easy to replace. They're inside of the carrier. If you have any questions on those, on the shape of the axle you're getting, you can always call us. We can take a look at them. But that's usually not a huge deal, because it is, like I said, a wearable part. We also don't cover brake components. We do cover the knuckles, the steering knuckles, or spindles as some people call them, but we don't cover the calipers or the rotors. We don't cover ball joints. So if you get them and you need to do ball joints on them, again, you can message us. Like this one's in pretty good shape. It's got a little tear right here. This would probably be a good candidate to throw a set on. Most people do these, but if you're just wanting something to bolt in, you can always, like I said, give us a call, and we can go out and kind of pick out one that's cream of the crop. But and then we don't cover axle seals, and that's another thing. You can call and ask if it's leaking or anything like that. This one's not, but you know, oftentimes you'll see pinion seals. They'll start to be leaking and whatnot. So we cover the hard parts of the axle, and that's why our prices are cheap on our axles. You know, if it's something we get a little bit more for on our axles, you'll usually say, you know, we'll cover such and such parts on them. But on this particular one, you're basically buying a differential that's set up factory for the gear ratio that's inside of this, and getting an insurance that the axle is straight and doesn't have any rust that's going down more than just surface or oxidation. If it's got rot in it, and you were to get something like that from us, which you wouldn't, but if you did, we would obviously cover that. So it gives you that peace of mind. We also cover the axle shafts themselves. Again, if one of them was bent or splines on it were chewed up or something like that, we'd send you the replacement for that piece as well. So you're going to get a good axle, and more than likely you're going to be able to bolt this in and just use it. But again, something we suggest going through it, especially when it's loose, it's much easier to do seals on them. ball joints, brake parts, and whatnot. But that's, again, completely up to you. Okay, so without further ado, I'll go over the axle again, the differences. So here we got caliper brackets. The way that these bolt on, these have these little ears on them. This is basically the way that they did them from 90 all the way up to until like 06. They were using the same style here on both Wranglers and XJs and MJs as well. The early ones don't have this, and so yeah, you can call or message us for a photo of one of those to see that difference if you want to. If you're using this one on a 87 89, you can do that, but you're going to need the brake components to it. And you can, again, call us if you're. We usually have both options, but if you're wanting one or the other, you can call us and just request, hey, I have a 1987, but I'm wanting this style, or vice versa. Okay. The other difference on them is the actuator for your four-wheel drive, which is a little vacuum pump here. And basically the internals, the casing, housing, everything is the same. The difference is this guy's got what I call a step vacuum plug, because it kind of goes up, and then if you've seen it, it's rubber. And there's a other style that's doesn't have that step to it. It's just kind of got a two prongs. So again, this can be swapped out. And again, in our listing, we show this not even being included. But we do usually throw these on to them if we have them. If not, again, the photo shows that it doesn't come with it for that reason. And then going over to this side, same thing. So the spindles, caliper brackets are what are different between the years. So hopefully that cleans that one up. You know, in this case, you can see like this has got what looks like a new ball joint on the lower. This would be the lower left side. So YJ's Dana 30, okay, that's a factory axle. That's the only axle they ever offered in a YJ for the front. They did not do any 44s. We get a lot of requests for those factory. They did not offer a factory front 44 for a YJ. Obviously, you can make some other axles work for them, but in a factory form, this is what they offered, and they're all high pinion. In the TJs, the 97s, they went down to a low pinion. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially, if we're looking at this axle, okay, it's a reverse cut ring and pinion inside, and it allows the pinion to come out, if I'm explaining this right, up at the top, which is better angles typically for four-wheeling. They also say reverse cut gears are stronger. That's kind of up for debate. But on a TJ, it's all low pinion unless you swap in an XJ, and we'll get into that on a later video. So just wanted to kind of give you a overview. So what you see in this video and what you see in your photos on it, obviously we don't take pictures of every single axle out here, but what we do guarantee you is you're going to get as clean or cleaner than what you see in the photos and or the video. You'll never get something in worse shape. And we coat these with a rust inhibitor, just because, you know, they get rock chips and stuff in them where they oxidize, so they look a little bit better. But also if they go out to the East Coast, you know, it's a good idea to do that, and probably do that every so often. It's not a perfect paint job. It just coats up the bare metal that we've seen on them, and that's that. If you don't want that done, you can call and request that not to be done. It's not any extra charge. It's just something we do. And I think that's it. So questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot us an email, call us, message us on our website. That's partsbreakers.com, or you can buy it directly off of there. We offer a flat rate shipping. It usually runs around $225. As of now, fuel prices have been going up, so we'll see if it changes that. That's pretty much anywhere in the U.S. If it comes out to be any more than that, it's a couple bucks, we'll cover it. If it comes out to be a lot more than that, because you're in a rural area, we'll call you and give you a couple of different options for getting it to that price. Or if it comes out to be a lot less expensive, we'll just refund the difference. We don't make any money on our shipping, and usually it covers the pallet and then the freight cost itself. So these do need to be shipped to a commercial address. If you do not have one, it's not a huge deal. Our freight company we use has terminals all over the United States and actually all over the world. And so what we can do is ship it to their location. They'll call you when it's in, and then you can go down and pick it up in a truck or trailer, and they'll load it for you. Okay, so anything else you may need or questions on or videos you want to see done, like I said, feel free to shoot me an email if it's a video request, and I'll see what I can come up with, hopefully in a timely manner. And here in a minute, I'll show you a Dana 35 and a YJ, and you can take a look at that. Thanks a lot.